Here we go. We got day 10, people. December 11th. Let's go, Jared. We're cheering on Jared today. We got that big interview with him coming up on this weekend. That's going to be fun, people. That's going to be fun. Going to get a little bit of that charisma, a little bit of that excitement, and get her going on. All right. How you guys doing today? Now, are you excited? Remember, stay excited. Feed that excitement. You know, it's the holidays, man. Don't rest in any kind of malaise. Get excited about making fudge. Get excited about making almaroca. Get excited about making peanut butter cookies. I do love me some peanut butter cookies, man. I'm going to make some of those pretty soon for sure. So find something to get excited about, man. It's the season to get excited. Cut loose all of that obligation, all of those things that maybe you feel bad about. Maybe you think that, hey, where my family at? And all that kind of shit. Just cut that all loose and go out and get yourself some chips and salsa and a couple beers. Okay? And get excited about it, all right? Or maybe get, you know, you don't drink beer no more, whatever. Get some of that Mexican Coke. That's the way to do it. Hell yeah, okay? So stay excited. Get excited. It's going to be a great new year coming up, okay? It's going to be a great next year. Be pumped about that. Just determine in your mind that it's already going to be a great fucking year. Now, I don't believe in all that manifest bullshit, you know what I'm saying? But I do believe that you can create the world that you want based upon the beliefs that you had. The interface is your actions, how you behave, okay? So if you have good beliefs in your mind, it's going to be a good year. You're going to get excited about it. That's going to resonate throughout your body, be like a little ping pong ball, just bouncing around. And then those behaviors are going to come out and people are going to respond to that. And then they're going to change and they're going to be like, wow, I like this guy. He's got good energy. I like this girl. She got good energy, man. She ain't a bitch. Like all them other hoes and shit and whatnot. All right. Now, that's what we're going to do. So get excited about it. This is what the whole thing is. You practice being excited every day. Pretty soon, you know, you've been excited for a whole month. Then you've been excited for a whole year, so on and so forth. And it changes your life. It shapes your life. The genuine desire shapes and changes your life. Okay. That's the fundamental key. We talk about all these big problems, you know, all these big theoretical whodunits and all that kind of stuff, you know. Was it this group of people, that group of people, World Economic Forum? What do I do? Do I get involved? No. What you do is you get excited about your life. When you become excited about your life, you're unstoppable, okay? You're like a stream of water. They can try to dam you up, but you're going to find a way around it, and then you're going to erode the whole earth and create a giant river. Like the Grand Canyon, if you buy that story, you know what I'm saying? If you buy the story of the Grand Canyon. But that's what you want to think about. That's what you want to think. Like, your genuine desire is unstoppable. Your excitement is unstoppable. Do you know that that's the one thing the devil's trying to make a deal with you to get? That's the one thing the devil wants, is your genuine desire and your excitement. You know, when they say, oh, I went to Hollywood and I made this deal with the devil. And he gave me all this money and everything. But then, you know, he took my excitement and beat it up. He took my genuine desire and beat it up. That's the thing that the devil's making a deal for. So if it's that valuable, why are you selling it to him? Why don't you use it for yourself and change your own life? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. I don't know. It could be a cult of genuine desire. But really, it's an independent thing, right? Everybody can navigate by their own compass in their own heart. You get what I'm saying? So we're all going the same direction, but everybody's a captain of their own ship. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to get one of them triangle hierarchy things, one of them cults, you know, and give all your hard work all up to the, you know, the priest or the godfather or whoever the hell it is up there at the top. The reptile people, what are they doing? Sucking on our genuine desire with the straw. They say, oh, this is some good genuine desire right here. A little salty, but it's pretty good. And it's okay if you're a little salty. Anger is good. Anger is the key to unlock the cage. We talked about this the other day, you know what I'm saying? You finally get angry enough, you're going to break through and you're going to change your life. You're going to say, no more! I draw that motherfucking line right there in the sand. Fuck that. We're not going back, okay? So get there. Become like that, all right? And then get excited about your life. Lock that critical eye in the hole. Get your schedule together and beat that drum. Beat that drum every day, okay? Pretty soon, you know, maybe for 2 weeks, it'll be a challenge. So you have to try it. But then pretty soon, it's going to be secondhand nature, all right? Just like when you learn how to drive a stick on a car or whatever, or when you learn how to, like, play a video game, and now you can play it and talk and all this kind of stuff. And, or even type, you know. That's another good example. But it'll be second nature, and you'll just be like, you know, rocking around. You'll be doing it, okay? So that's what we're going to talk about, okay? That's what we're doing. Now, today we're dropping into the 1950s, okay, people? But before we get there, I almost jumped ahead of myself. Now, we had a fantastic interview with Forest Mommy last night, okay? I don't know if you were around to see it. Go back and watch that stuff. Now, Forest Mommy was fantastic to have her on. She's one of the rare attractive women who's kind of based. So, you know, that's always fun to chat with those kind of women. I remember you come across those kind of teachers every once in a while, and they genuinely cared about you and cared about what was going on with you, right? But at the same time, they were based. So that was a nice treat. We had a really good time with her. If you didn't catch that interview, go watch it last night. It was Bruvs United, number 9. We had a blast. We were doing it, okay? And then, let's see here. Then this weekend, we got the live going on Saturday at 11. And Forest Mommy was like, Ray, you stream at all these random times. That's right, I do. I do. I try not to step on the toes of Daywave, ROTC, and Nightwave, and so also on a Saturday, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to stream over like AP or I don't want to stream over like Ryan Harkness or anything like that. So, you know, I pick my little spots, man. And, hey, if it's live, you jump in and let's have a good chat with it. And if you catch it on the replay, do it that way. But I want every time that we hang out, I want you to walk away with this sense of, wow, that was a good time. Wow, I think we had a good time. I bet if we met up with Ray at the bar, we would have a fucking blast, okay? Now, that's what I want you to feel when you come away with that kind of, after watching the videos, you know? And so anyway, so then on Saturday, we're going to do that live. We're going to have the guys jump on too. We're going to have a good time with that, all right? And then on Sunday, we're going to have Jared, and I think he's going to come in studio. So, you know, we might be grappling or something, bro. I might even have to ask him to throw me around a couple of times so I can say, hey, bro, you know, I got tossed by a professional judo guy back in the day. Back in the day, he cleaned my clock and threw me halfway across the room. Did that ever happen to you? You know, and then, who knows? He could even go on to win a gold medal at the Olympics. Then I could say, you know, hey, bro, I was hanging out with the gold medal Olympian. You know, he threw me across the room. You know, and how cool of a story would that be? You know what I'm saying? And so that'd be a lot of fun. We'll have a little chit chat with him. Hillbilly Harry as well. Try to probably get both of them on camera and have a good time with that. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then we're going to have a lined up week next week on our Tuesday, Wednesdays. That's when I stream. So Tuesday, Wednesday, sometimes Friday, but mostly then the following Saturday and maybe Sunday if it's something special, okay? So, yeah, we'll figure it all out, bro. We're having a good time. That's what it's supposed to be like. You know, there's such thing as opportunity. You pop up, the opportunity's there, you take it, and you have a good time with it, okay? That's how life works. You walk down the path and opportunities unfold before you, okay? So that's how it works. Be excited about it. Find your excitement, walk your path, get your opportunities. Come on, people. That's what we're here to do. So, what was I talking about? That's right. We're going back to the 1950s. Okay, so we just bum rushed straight through the 1940s. You know, we went through the wartime and the post-war, and right at the end of 1940, there we had Christian Dior Christian motherfucking Dior, that's how you gotta say it back then. He came out with this idea and this new look called, it was actually called the new look, right? Where he kind of put back in the curves into the silhouette and accentuated the femininity, brought luxury back to fashion, and revolutionized the whole haute couture. Haute couture means custom designed for you, the client, right? So if you're gonna go and do haute couture, you're a super rich person, you get every dress or, you know, suit designed for you. But I guess for men it's called tailored, but for women I guess it's called haute couture, because, you know, the dresses take all types of forms. You know, when you go buy a suit, what are you gonna get? Oh, I want that suit, but could I have it blue? Maybe could I have that one, a little bit of that tweed in it maybe, but it's all the same kind of suit, you know, it's all the sports jacket and all that kind of stuff. But the women, they got skirts, they got dresses, they got the blouse, they got lingerie, they got capes, they got little foxes and all kinds of shit that they put on and wear and run around, and which is great. I love it myself. If I had the money to spoil, you know, a girlfriend or 3 or 4 of them at the same time. If I had the money, I had 3 or 4 maybe, right? You spoil them all. You get them all together, you send them over to the haute couture. They're fighting like cats because you put them all in the same little container. But it doesn't matter because you send them over to the haute couture. You get yourself a discount because you're buying in bulk. You're giving them 4 customers, right? They're all happy coming out. Oh, look what I got, look what I got. And then you're all happy, you spent less, the couture guy is all happy, and then, you know, you get them back in the rotation kind of thing, you know. But hey, that's just me. Maybe you're not kind of like that, but I'm just joking around. Come on, people. Give me a little laugh here, a little levity. We're trying to have fun. So anyway, so you had Christian motherfucking Dior come out with the new look and added a whole bunch of femininity and luxury back into the silhouettes that he made for his new line. That was right at the very end of 1949. So now we're going into the 1950s, and throughout the 1950s, they had everybody else resisted the new look at first, but then after a year or two, it really caught on because the reception from the women, they really fucking loved it. And so then everybody else started doing their own takes on it. And they fully embraced the high cinched waist, the nice volumetric skirt or hemline, and the high silks and cottons and very luxurious fabrics. And so that was a big deal. Now, the 2 looks that I'm going to talk about today, we're going to jump down to camera 2. We're going to talk about it. All right, so here we are. We're in the 1950s, okay? So they got continued on with the new look from Christian motherfucking Dior. You got me up in their corner. I'm happy as a lark, okay? So you got the high waist, you got the silhouette, you got the curves, you got all that kind of stuff going on. So we got a whole bunch of iterations on that. Everybody's different take. We got the pencil skirts, and we really have the hourglass figure really took precedence in the 1950s. Of course, in the 1950s, you cannot go on without mentioning the impact of the poodle skirt. Okay, the poodle skirt, which is right here, was huge in the 1950s, right? And the lore is on the background of the poodle skirt is that some lady made it as a skirt that she wore to a Christmas party, okay? And she put a little applique of a poodle on it, and she was all excited about it. And everybody went bananas over it. It was just an A-line skirt. Everybody went crazy over it. And so then other magazines started to pick it up, and the craze swept across the nation, and they started putting poodle appliques on these poodle skirts. And then they put other kind of appliques like the Eiffel Tower or, you know, flowers or anything like that. But it was basically this type of skirt, this high-waisted A-line skirt with applique. And the very first ones were poodles. They also did dachshunds and other kinds of dogs like that too. So we got that right here. We got the poodle skirt. We all know that. You got the chubby checker and all that kind of stuff. The, you know, the sock hops, the poodle skirt, and it represented the hope and the aspirations of the youth. And so they wore that combined with a sweater, cardigan or like a chiffon sweater or whatever, and of course had that nice little hairstyle. And then at the other end of the spectrum, we got a huge impact upon culture from the movies. Okay, you got Marlon Brando, the early 1950s, 1951 in A Streetcar Named Desire. Then a little bit later, 1955, you got him in The Wild One. He presents this look right here. It's basically a motorcycle guy, right? He's got the motorcycle jacket, he's got the gloves, and he's got that funky hat. Now, we have seen this look so many more times throughout history after this, right? Think about how many times we've seen it with Michael Jackson, huge influence. We've seen it with AC/DC, the lead singer. We've seen it in all kinds of other things. You could even say the punk, you know, the leather jacket. Yeah, it's all over, and it represents, you know, the rebellious nature, being a rebel. And of course, then you got Elvis, and he was doing his Jailhouse Rock in 1957. He kind of took a similar kind of look, except he used a denim jacket. All right, so those are the two big looks that we're going to focus on as we go forward today. You got any questions, anybody? Anybody got any questions out there? So you got the poodle squirt, the poodle squirt, not squirt, the poodle skirt, okay, and then you got the streetcar named, not streetcar, but the wild one with Marlon Brando. You know, I know I always want to say James Dean, but I think he came later. He came a little bit after that. Of course, I got my Sharpies right here. Got all my Sharpies, and we're gonna try to have a good time with these drawings right here. Now, I'm gonna come down here to my, let's see here. Let me try to pull this over here. Try to pull this over here. Where is he at? There we go. And we're gonna try and get some of this. I'm gonna start over here today with the medium. I got my medium guy going. And what we're gonna do is just we're gonna look for positive and negative spaces. Okay, we already have the lay-in thanks to my early work to lay this in. Now we're just going to try to accentuate some of these folds and shapes as we go through here. Doing some of these fun little I always love doing leather jacket because I love everything shiny. You know, when you're trying to mimic it, when you're drawing, it's so much fun to try to get that to work. And then when it finally does work, you're like, oh, I got that to work. You feel so good about yourself. You guys see that okay? Let me move that over. Y'all don't need to see my Sharpies. You need to see the drawing. Come on now. Who's doing stuff around here? Let's go, people. Now I got to make sure to leave a little bit of room in there because I don't want it to be all black. I want it to shine through some of the blues because in the leather there are some, you know, you got the light reflecting and it makes some nice blue hues in there, and it kind of gives the volume to the jacket, okay? Then we're just going to make these little shapes. And we're going to knock them out, have a good time knocking them out, slam them in there as I always like to say. And just have a good time doing that. Kind of suggest the forms underneath it, like so. Always leave yourself that little, see how those are peeking through right there? Always leave those there, okay? Because that's going to help you get your volume by putting another color in there to give a little variation so that the shadows look deep. If you just use black, then they're going to look just flat. They're not going to look deep and rich. You got to use the other colors too so they look deep and rich. You got me, people? So I'm telling you the truth now. And he has his little name badge over here, which I thought was really interesting. You know, for such a rebel, he's got a little name badge. He wants everybody to know his name. You know, I thought that was kind of funny. When you look back upon it, you know, how they tried to project what rebellion was, you really see that it really was a facade. You know, they really didn't even know what true rebellion was. And that's very interesting. They're like theater kids trying to pretend and trying to shape society. And it really does feel that way. They don't feel like real rebels. Here, I'm a real rebel, but I want to make sure you know my name's Johnny. Okay, that's what that says right there. And he really had a big ass pin like that on his jacket. That doesn't make any sense. Why would he have a big ass pin like that on his jacket? Because it's cool. Well, why is it cool? Who says that, you know? I thought when you're a rebel, you didn't want nobody to know your name. You know what I mean? No, I want you to know my name. If you're seeking out fame, let me tell you something. You're not a rebel. If you're seeking out fame, you're a wannabe. You want acknowledgement. And a rebel doesn't want acknowledgement, right? A rebel doesn't give a fuck. He wants to reject, you know, he wants to reject society, reject that life. And that's what the 1%ers are, right? They don't want the acknowledgement. They don't want anybody to know who they are. You know what I mean? So we got Johnny down here. Here we go. We got his arm right there. Let's go ahead and get his... get his little motorcycle glove in there. And it's okay to leave some open spots. That's nice. It's a lost line. It'll create a lot more interest if you lose some of the lines. It gives that variance, that variation. You know, I always talk about it, you know? You know, if everything is like the same, you paint a wall, just one solid color, it's not interesting anymore. Okay? You got to have that variance, people. And I'm just doing a little bit of redoing the size as I go along, because I recognize it's a little bit out of proportion on my first lay-in, but that happens, that happens. Okay, so he's got that right there. Alright. Come down here. I'm drawing at a little bit of an angle. I always have to make that clear. People are like, oh, right. What's going on? Why are you drawing so funny? Like, I'm drawing at an angle so you guys can see it. Go ahead and knock that in there. Okay. Now I'm going to get the fine one out. And we're just going to go in here and put in some eyes. Got these really narrow eyes. It's like, oh, the sun's so bright. Oh, sun's so bright. Why is sun so bright? In fact, I could tell that this should be down here more. This. So we're gonna try and fix that just real quick, like that. He's like, oh, what's going on, fellow bros? Got his chin. Alright, so then we got our little Marlon Brando a little bit. Right there. He's like, what's up, bros? What are you guys doing, man? What the hell's going on? Maybe we got a little carried away right there, but that's okay. We'll leave that alone right there. Alright. And so we got our Marlon Brando. We're gonna put in some of this right here. Gonna give a delineation of the oh yeah, we can't forget this. His huge ass motorcycle zipper. You gotta have those huge ass zippers right there. Then he has the teeth that run up like this. And the cool thing is you just want to hint at what it is. You just want to hint at what it is, okay? You kind of do it like John Singer Sargent does. He doesn't paint a pearl. He paints the highlight and the shadow, not the pearl. You get what I'm saying? And then when your eyes put it together and recognize the pattern as a pearl. That's pretty badass. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do too. We're trying to do that badassedness. All right, so then we'll say, well, there's our Marlon Brando. Let me just put in our hourglass right here because that's what we're really focused on in the 1950s. The hourglass shape. The new look. We got a whole bunch of pencil skirts. I love me a good pencil skirt, especially in a girl who has a nice ass. Hell yeah. Maybe she's got little boots on. calf-high boots. Now, let's jump down over here to our friend, the poodle skirt, which is very fun to do. Let's go ahead and jump down right into the poodle. You know, we could paint, we could draw any kind of way that we want to draw. If we want to do the poodle first, we could do the poodle first. All right, now the poodle's got this big old afro thing on the top. Looks super cute. It's got a nice little triangular shaped body. Got a little pompadour thing for the back. He's got the nice little things on his feet, or her feet maybe. There you go. You got the poodle right there. Then you got the twisty thing for the leash right there. So let's come up in here. I'll save the features on her face for the finer, but while we're going, we'll just use the small to make some of these negative shapes. Look at that. So we're making a negative shape, and by doing the negative shape, we're actually drawing the shirt at the same time. How about that? Okay, that's pretty cool. Put a little handkerchief. They had a big deal with these old handkerchiefs and these scarves. They really love that kind of stuff. She's wearing a nice sweater. Okay, very cool, very chic, very well put together, very youthful at the same time. It's funny that each generation wants to make their imprint, and as soon as they do, as soon as a generation makes their imprint, the generation behind them rejects it. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's always been that way, or you know, did they ever just have people, and you know, the whole society found something that was worth liking and held on to it for longer than a decade. I don't know. I don't know. You have the nice cinched waist right there. You got a little belt. You got the skirt jumping out. Okay, jumping out. Jumping out of her waist. Giving those nice ruffles. Okay, she looks really nice right there. That looks really fun. Very youthful. We're going to come down here to her heels. Remember, make them a little bit smaller. Got these little tiny pumps on. Okay, you see that? Come down here. Go ahead and put the 1950s in. Let me get the Big Daddy out. It's my favorite part always. To do the roar. Okay, that was fun for a second. The medium back out, come back in, knock out. Looking dandy. Now I'm gonna get the fine guy out, the fine Sharpie right here. We're gonna go up in here and do her glasses. You know, it's some 1950s nerd glasses. You know, the ones with the cat eye. And if you don't make it right at first, it's okay. You can go back in and do a double line and kind of fix it. Be at our nose. There we go. Got her ear right there. She's ready to go. She's excited, ready to go. So we got our Marlon Brando over here, and then we got our honey bun on the other side. Maybe he pulled up and was like, "Hey, honey bun, what are you doing?" Now, as always, I'm going to erase the pencils so I don't smudge the oh hoo hoo markers. We're getting ready to drop in here. Okay, just have a good time with that. All right. Get off there. Get off there. Maybe this is why he wants everybody to know his name, because he's always hitting on them ladies. Maybe that's it, you know? He's like, hey, baby, it's Johnny. It's Johnny. That's who it is. It's Johnny, okay? Let's go back down here and pull out these Ohuhu markers. Of course, the Ohuhu markers with the Honolulu tips on them. There we go, right here. If you want them, links in the description. I got all the links to all the materials in the description. All right. So what are we going to do? First thing we're going to do is we're going to come up in here with the warm part of the gradient. Okay, so we're going to do the warm up here. All right, around his face. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do a cool. Maybe this one will do it. That's pretty blue. Yeah, I'm doing it. Okay. Leave some places for the shine to shine through, okay? And we want to keep this a little bit gritty. Try not to do what I just did, and I see that right there, look, I just marked it over the zipper, so now the zipper is kind of funky. And speaking of zippers, we have to put in our zipper over here that I didn't put in. There we go. There we go. Okay, he's looking good. Now we'll do a little bit of this lighter pink here to give a little bit of a difference. You'll see it when I do it. You'll see why I'm doing that. That guy back. Now we'll pull him back with the blue. Now we gotta be careful because we gotta keep Johnny alive. We gotta, in fact, we'll go with the other side of the tip. Johnny to stay alive. Okay. A little bit too dark. As you have to do that, check it, go back, find a better one. I'm looking for a better one. We'll do this lighter gray, maybe. Yeah, that'll work. Get rid of all those really bright highlights. Of course, we're going to leave the name Johnny as wide as possible so you can see it. Okay, now I want to do one more thing. I want to come in, I want to bear down with this darker yellow. I mean purple. Yellow, where'd that come from? Remember we left those little spots. See how they're like poking through right there?
in the black. You can even add the purple. What it's going to do is add an extra bit of dimensionality to the shadow. And we're going to be all excited about it. We're going to be like, yeah, we did that. And that's right, you're going to be excited about it because you did it. Like, hell yeah. That's right, I'm a wild one. See how I tied that back in right there? That's pretty good. Maybe you can go with a little bit of a darker blue here. Get that going. There we go. Back. Then you would find an even lighter blue. A little bit of the green in it, add a little bit more. Push this back a bit. And there we go, we got old Johnny. Now, we gotta do his hat real quick. Let's see what his hat looks like. A little shadow right there. A little lighter cream for the rest of it. Is this a green? I think this is a green. Yeah, it's a little bit green. We'll go with it. Darker gray. A little bit of depth there. A little light blue. This light blue over here. A little reflection action. Put a brown. There we go. Something like that. And then I forgot he has his glove down here. Wasn't paying attention to that. Let's go ahead and put in some of this. Okay. And do a lighter gray. Go. And it was a black up here, but we'll go with a dark gray. So there we go. There's our Johnny. Our streetcar named Desire. Oh no, wait, not streetcar named Desire, the wild one. Okay, can you see that? Wild one. We could push it a little bit further, but we'll continue on. We will continue on. We just add his ear. Little ear action right there. Alright. Let's jump on over to the poodle skirt. Okay? So the poodle skirt, of course we gotta make it pink. Of course we do. Of course we do. Nice bright pink poodle skirt. Come on. Okay. And this is who Marlon Brando's winking at. The pink girl. He's like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, oh my God, I just got out of school. I'm 12. He's like, oh, perfect. That's how Hollywood was back then. Now, of course, I heard all them things about Marlon Brando, right? How he almost fucked anything that walked or something like that. I can't remember. Had sex with some dude, some guys in the music industry or movie industry or whatever. Who knows? I remember he went on Larry King and said something about the Jews, and after that he was toast. I never saw him in public again. I think that was in the 90s. I can't remember. But that was kind of funny. We'll give her a nice darker. Then we'll go ahead and throw up, here she's wearing a nice yellow sweater, cardigan type sweater. Maybe she's going to the sock hop. I think that's what they did back then. They went to the sock hop. Maybe she's got like a dark purple belt right here. She's got I know that seems crazy color for the hair, but hold on with me. You have to kind of do that. You gotta layer up the colors so you can get the right color that you want. Okay? And then you want to let the colors peek through. And like I said, it gives it more variation, more lifelike. Okay. Now, one thing I don't like is we lost the shape right there. You can see it. We lost the shape right there. So what I would do is go get like a white marker. Let's see if I have one at hand. I don't know if I do. A white marker. No, I don't think I do. But I'd get a white marker and just, you know, like one of them acrylic markers and pull it back out real quick. No big deal. No big deal at all. Go ahead and get some of this blue in here. Yeah, that's the right color, blue. Very fun. Very fun. Alright, now we'll go ahead and do a little shadow on this, illustrate the, give her some maybe some dark brown or black shoes. So we'll go with a little bit of brown first, see how that looks. That looks okay. We'll come back in here with a little blue maybe. This will probably look better. But you see, you let the other color peek through, it kind of vibrates. So you look at it, and then you get like three colors, because you got the one solid brown, you got the solid blue, then you got the mixture of the two, so you got the three colors vibrating back and forth. Now what we'll do is we'll take a little bit of the gray. Make sure this is the 1 and 2 gray. That's 2 gray. We'll get a lighter gray. Hell, maybe we can see it like a lighter blue. That's what we'll do. Dog painted. A little applique. And there you go. You got the hourglass figure. We got Marlon Brando trying to pick up this honey bunny over here. We got Marlon Brando trying to pick up the honey bunny, right? She's all happy about it. You can tell she's like, oh, hell yeah, let's get this going. I want to jump on your motorcycle, Mr. Marlon Brando. He's like, Yeah, I got one offer you can't refuse. You know, like the Godfather. I can't do a good Godfather, but you get what I'm saying. So I gotta be honest with you, man. The 1950s seemed like they had been fucking awesome. You got great cars, you got great theater, great movies coming out. You had like the Streetcar Named Desire, you got the Wild One, the whole motorcycle club was kicking off. Keep in mind, all of the guys who came back from World War II brought all of their motorcycles back, and they started forming motorcycle clubs, right? I don't know if you saw that new Tom Hardy movie. It's not that new, but it's called The Motorcycle Club. It's a pretty good show. I imagine it was a lot like that back then. You know, you come back from World War II, it's hard to go back to working in a regular 9-to-5 job or factory after you spent 4 or 5 years crushing skulls and going wherever you want to go with a bunch of your bros, having a great time. So then I think that pretty much kicked off the whole biker gang movement that started at that point. And there were just a bunch of guys who wanted to keep the same kind of life that they experienced when they went over to the war. They wanted to bring it back home because they've been changed so much. So then you got Marlon Brando playing Johnny in The Wild One. Now, of course, I don't like the fact that he's got his name tag right there. Johnny, I'm about to commit this crime, but make sure everybody knows it was Johnny. It's like, Jesus Christ, that's fucking retarded. But then at the other end of the scale, you got the youthful hopefulness of the 1950s with the poodle skirt and the sweaters, the chiffon sweaters, the very pretty, very nice sweaters, and the fun poodle skirt. And who can't forget like Chubby Checker and if you ever went to one of those restaurants where you can get yourself a big ass milkshake in like the 50s and all that kind of stuff, that's fantastic with a nice burger and fries. So that must have been a phenomenal time period to live through, okay? And it's represented by two iconic styles that are forever going to be remembered. The poodle skirt and the biker outlaw, so to speak, okay? So keep that in mind as you go forward today, okay? Now, tomorrow we're going to jump forward to the 1960s. That's going to be exciting because the 1960s is when the whole Miss Maisel, TV show, that's what they portray. And so a lot of the fashion you see in the Marvelous Miss Maisel, you're going to see tomorrow. Maybe we'll do an extra day on it just because all of those styles are so fun. And it's kind of like everybody got in their groove with Christian Dior's new look, and they kind of, it took them a decade to kind of wrap their minds around it. And then they started to blow up with it again and started to go off in their own tangents, and you got a lot of fun stuff going on. A lot of vibrant prints, a lot of exceptional fabrics. And then also in the 60s, you got these synthetic fabrics that start to make their way into culture. I think DuPont released pantyhose around that time. We'll have to double check with that. But it was a really, really big deal, people. Really big deal, okay? So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But for the rest of today, go kick some ass.